I'm beyond excited for today's guest, Lezly Kaye. She has been through it all in life, but somehow she managed to build a $60 million empire. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how she managed to do that. We talk about how self-trust, stopping self-sabotage, as she calls self-protection, and healing your inner child can help you not only in your personal life, but in your business too. If you want to learn how Lezly turned her struggles into success, this episode is for you. Let's get started. Lezly, welcome to the show and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
We were chatting before I hit recording, and I was telling you how much I want to talk about self-trust, building self-trust, and self-sabotage, which you told me you call it self-protection. And I love that I want to dive deep into it. But as people heard from intro, and you have built an empire, a $60 million empire, but people see that today. People see that Lezly today, and they don't know all your childhood trauma. They don't know about your divorce, you being a single mother, you facing a $3 million. Is it called an ATO in Australia?
Yeah.
That's how it's called. Yeah, the tax debt, basically.
Yes.
So, and so many things I don't know about you, and you don't share, and so many things you share, but I still don't know about them. You have been through so much, but then through that, and you didn't just survive, you thrived. And I was sharing with you, there's a different energy in between this. And I know so many people surviving, but so much less people who are thriving. And I think that's just my personal idea. I think people don't have the self-trust and don't feel safe enough, as you said, to then being from surviving, okay, let's build anything out of it. So I want to guide people, whoever has survived already and whoever is ready to hear us, to how then you feel safe enough and trust yourself enough to build out of that.
Yeah, I love this question, and I actually want to say most entrepreneurs are actually surviving. I want to say there's a misconception that just because they have steered their childhood towards success, it means that they're doing better than anyone else, where most successful people tend to be building their businesses on the back of a form of addiction, except rather than getting addicted to drugs or alcohol, they've got addicted to working in some way, and they're filling a void of validation through working. A lot of my teachers, and actually my core wound is like a daddy wound per se. So a lot of my teachers actually speak to the fact they've built empires on the back of their daddy wounds, which essentially means that oftentimes high achieving women are actually seeking approval from their fathers. And so a lot of the success that they find is because they work hard. They literally will actually do anything for validation, and the validation they're seeking is in the form of success. So yeah, I kind of want to, most entrepreneurs are in survival mode. There's a different level of growth, and I want to say almost a more fulfilling way to make money when you come out of survival and into safety and thriving and start to build from this place. But I just want to dispel, for anyone that's listening, that's like, well, I can't be successful because of X, Y, and Z. I was born to drug addicts. I was sexually assaulted young. I left home when I was 14. I moved out of my country town when I was 17. I have a lot of big T trauma in my childhood, but rather than use that as an excuse not to drive me to succeed, I used it as the fuel to go, I refuse to give up until I've created a life that's better. And in that determination and in that choice to actually say, I know that if I apply myself here, I can create change. And I also want to say it's not like I left home when I was 14 and then moved when I was 17 and then fell into just becoming successful. There were periods where I took drugs for 9 months. I hung out with bikies and drug dealers. I became a topless waitress. There's all of these things that I did in my youth and early 20s. It's not like I just woke up and was successful and just stayed that way. I would take 10 steps forward and 5 steps back, and 10 steps forward and 5 steps back. And that cycle has kind of repeated itself my whole life. I want to say it's only now with the awareness and the healing that I have that I'm actually growing a business that's sustainable because I'm not building it